Welcome to another episode of this series that is hosted by newskarnataka.com in its studios in Mangaluru with Professor Ronald Pinto. This series is called Career Guidance with Professor Ronald Pinto, and this series is for you. It's for you because you need to know what career you need to choose. Today we are going to focus on competitive exams, careers through competitive exams. And most of our professional courses depend upon your scoring well in competitive exams. There are wide variety of competitive exams for the medicine, for engineering, for the defense forces, for banking, and so on and so forth. And this entire episode will focus on that. You need to know which exam you need to take to go into whichever line you would like to take, and Professor Ronald Pinto will throw more light on that. But my first question to Professor Ronald Pinto is rather different. Why is it called competitive exams? After all, when we study in PUC, when we study the 10th standard, when we study for our degree, we are competing with everybody else to get the highest marks in the class. In fact, when we go home, our parents would ask us, you could have got 3 marks more than that person. So that's also competition. And why are these called competitive exams? That's my first question to you.
Now a job like bank officer or IAS or life insurance, general insurance can be given to arts, commerce, science, doctors, engineers, anybody. Exams conducted for these streams by different universities or boards. So some universities give liberal marks, some students score liberal marks, some students go to coaching classes and by heart. So marks definitely not indicating inherent skills which a person possesses. So now both government and private companies understood that marks are not really telling the greatness of a person. Instead, bring them together on a common platform and conduct on the same day examinations which are not having subjects as such, but your skills which are required for becoming successful. That's why all these arts, commerce, science, doctor, engineers are brought to a common platform, and both government, state government, central government, and private companies conduct a test called written test. Later, they conduct a group discussion and interview. So here, if you are a science student, commerce student, does not matter. Like in foreign countries, many friends say in foreign countries, jobs are de-linked from the degrees. They have their own tests. So it is a good thing that here also, in India, we have competitive examinations. Just a degree is enough. Today, if you say IAS and all, mostly engineers pass the IAS exam. You see the CAT, which was normally earlier field of commerce students, was in IITs, NIT students are actually becoming more successful. Even in banks, I am finding the engineers and science students are becoming more successful because of the new competitive examinations. I think hereafter, degree just passing is enough, whether it is first class, second class, third class, they may not mind, but you have to clear the tough competitive examinations which are conducted on a common platform, all India level.
Okay. Now there are many agencies conducting a variety of examinations, and of course I'll come back to a very important question related to that much later in the program. But before that, I'd like to know this Union Public Service Commission and the Karnataka Public Service Commission. For instance, we are in Karnataka, that's why I'm referring to that. They conduct a lot of competitive exams. For what exactly do they conduct these competitive exams? What is the nature of these exams, and why should we answer them? That is my next question.
Yeah. UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, and SSC, Staff Selection Commission, conduct examinations for most of the officers level exams all over India. Now we call them civil service examinations, or Indian Economic Service, Indian Statistical Service, Combined Defense Service, or National Defense Academy, or Combined Medical Service, Engineer Entrance Examination, Indian Statistical Examination, and so on. Similarly, in Karnataka, to become a person like Tahsildar or a commercial marketing officer or a registrar, they have KS, Class 1 and Class 2. And apart from the KPSC KS, We also have exams like FDA, first year assistant, second year assistant, PDO, public Panchayat Development Officer, village accountant, forest range officers. These exams are conducted by KPSC. Here just degrees enough, whether you are from arts, commerce, science, they don't mind. There is a syllabus for that. You have to prepare according to the syllabus and come to the examinations. Then depending upon your caste, because there is reservation for SC, ST, OBCs and so on. And now special economic reservation has come. If your income is below 80 lakhs rupees, 8 lakhs rupees per year, then you are called economic weaker section, even though you are coming from upper caste. Now, if you take into all this account, students who belong to OBC, then economic weaker sections, and SC, ST, you have a better chance of getting selected through these competitive examinations.
So these competitive examinations are basically for government services. The revenue service, the administrative service, the foreign service, and of course in Karnataka the various officers in the civil service serving the government. But what examinations are there for those in the private sector?
Now private companies also, for example, you take now MRPL, or we have private means MRPL is both jointly functioning. Infosys, L&T or Mindtree and so on. Now these people, even though they want engineers, they also take students from commerce or other areas. So for them, they conduct a common written test, what you call aptitude test. My both daughters are engineers. They said completing the degree exams are easier, but completing the aptitude tests in the campus are tough, because these are not by heart oriented. These are all inherent skill oriented. Whether you really have the inherent strength to manage a particular job. So about 1 to 2 hours of aptitude test in the campus. Those who are clearing the aptitude test, then they are subjecting them to sometimes group discussion. And after the group discussion, they are subjecting them to interview. Interview also of different level 1, level 2, level 3. My daughter got a job in Hindustan Unilever. First she had to clear the interview conducted by lower level at a Karnataka level. Then she had to manage the interview which was conducted by Bombay level. Then finally it's from Delhi level, 3 level interviews. And these level interviews are no really what I should say stress managing interviews. Whether you are really able to manage in a situation where you are put under the stress. When you are a management person, my daughter done MBA and many others also, they conduct these competitive examinations, first a written test to find out you are just ordinary skills, special skills, but in the interview and group discussion, they find out your leadership level, team spirit, positive thinking and so on, which are more important. I feel rather than the marks, your public speaking skills, analytical skills, team building spirit, skills, positive thinking, all these are mattering. And so I feel without a entrance test, nobody gives a job based upon pure marks today.
If you want to be a banker today, there are some exams, competitive exams that you have to take, I suppose, both in the government sector and in the private sector. So what are those all about, Professor?
Very good. Now today, when I go to different colleges and ask them which is the best preferred job, to my surprise, everybody says it's a bank. I asked why bank? So banks are very nice, a second Saturday, fourth Saturday holiday, and they are always going on strike, so a lot of holidays are there. Their salary structure is more, they got pension and so on. Of course, they might be having their own problems, which you don't know. I've told actually for fun's sake, but it is a fact that bank people get very well-paid salary compared to the work which they do. Whereas in IT companies and all, they are working till night to 10, 11, 12 o'clock, target from Mangaluru to Mumbai, Mumbai to Calcutta, they have to go about. Whereas banks, of course, there is a transfer, but only if you want. If you don't want a transfer, remain at clerical level and you will be continuing in your same place. I found the advertisement, starting salary of a clerk in a private bank, 44,000 beginning salary and for the clerical level, 66,000 beginning salary for an officer level. Now look at the engineers who have done their M.Tech and be in Infosys and all. Beginning salary is about 20,000, 25 for most of the people, a few people. People from IIT, NIT may be lucky. Otherwise, MBAs or say engineers, even doctors, I am finding that they are working for some 40,000, 50,000, the MBBS doctors. Whereas these bank people are getting good salary. You take a bank like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, of course targets are there, but salary structure is very, very good. And you will be surprised to know what is the salary of the HDFC top person, around 4 crore rupees a year. So the top officers are getting very good salary because of the good working environment, good facilities, good salary, good pension scheme. People opt for the public sector bank. Private sector banks are also nice, but then they are putting a target. So if you are ready to work in a highly competitive world and ready to meet the target, these private banks like Royal Bank of London and then HDFC, ICICI, and we have Indus Bank, all these are great banks.
Okay, so there's a lot to work for in the banking industry. You wanted to say something, Professor?
Yeah, one more thing. He asked entrance examinations.
Yeah.
Now you might have heard about IBPS, Indian Banking Personnel Selection. For all the public sector banks, they have this examination conducting sometimes 2 times in a year. You have to clear this, and then respective banks will call you for the group discussion and the interview. Reserve Bank, for their clerical office, conduct separately examinations. Similarly, State Bank, they have got their own examinations. Private banks like say Karnataka Bank or IndusInd Bank or HDFC Bank, they have got their own examinations. Even rural banks or say cooperative banks, they have got their own examinations. Now all these banks have same question papers like English language, numerical ability, test of intelligence, and the test in computer knowledge, which is a must. Today, students must learn computers. If you don't know means you will be out of any job. So computer knowledge, general knowledge. So all these are common things. Once you prepare for one exam, bank examinations, you will be successful. There is a family in Morgan's Gate. There are 7 people in the family. All 7 bank people are in bank. Father is just rolling BDs. But children, because of their preparations for the bank exams through IBPS, they got selected. One person trained the other one, and today all 7 children are in the banks. So it is wrong to tell that influence only works. Influence may work at interview level, but written examination, which contains 200 marks for the main exam and 30 marks for the interview, 20 marks for the group discussion, you do very well. And those 30 marks for the interview are nothing compared to the 220 marks given for the written test at stage 2 level. Stage 1 is called preliminary, multiple choice questions to screen the people. Second stage is called the main exam, where you have got English essay, then questions on general knowledge, computers, maths, and so on. And then group discussion, interview. There are books in Mangaluru, Sapna bookshop and all. Go and get the books, 1, 2, 3 books, and go and prepare. You are all young now, maybe first year, second year degree level. When you complete your degree, you write the examination many times. First attempt may not make you successful, but second, third attempt, I have seen so many students in their second, third attempt do very well. Recently, one girl got first rank in CA in Mangaluru, but it seems her third attempt. But in third attempt, she did extremely well. Same happens in IAS. People first time don't clear. Second time get a rank like 300, 400. But third, fourth time and all, they get rank like 30, 40 and so on. So this way, if you continuously prepare for the exams, back examinations may be very good and you will be happy in this field.
Loyola Degree College, Bengaluru, a prestigious institution run by the Jesuits of Karnataka. The institute provides an advantage of choosing between varied choices of subjects in commerce and arts. Being a Loyolite, experience modern teaching and learning infrastructure. Students of journalism have additional guided facilities in filmmaking, videography and photography. Coaching facilities provided for professional courses CA and CS. 3-day national media tour for journalism students and industrial visit for commerce students. Avail attractive scholarships for better learning. Be rest assured of your safety as the campus follows all COVID protocols. Mix and socialize with peers of multicultural backgrounds. Well-equipped library, multiple sports facilities, and encouragement to extracurricular activities. Explore more about exciting careers and higher learning opportunities under the guidance of the placement cell of the college. Here, you not only get formal education, but you get education for life. Begin your venture of knowledge at Loyola Degree College.
Be the change by being at Loyola Degree College.
For online applications, visit www.loyolacollegeblr.com and call or WhatsApp at 94482 77758 or 9148229651.
Yeah, but one thing's for sure, Professor, you can't be a non-performing asset in the bank.
You should have aptitude for that, okay?
Yeah.
If you are not smart, active, dynamic, you do not have the skills of accountancy, money and so on. So if you engage, you are a chartered accountant, intermediate, or say at least foundation course, intermediate clear, or company secretary, cost accountant, cost management accountant, or MCom, BCom, what the basics of accountancy and business laws, banking theory and practice and all, you may become more successful. As he said, Brand said, everybody can, Tom, Dick and Harry cannot get into bank jobs. If there are 1,000 jobs, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs people appear, and there is a fierce competition for which preparations are required.
Yeah, there is one other career that everybody at least used to aspire to, now I'm not too sure, is the armed forces. And after PUC, I think there is a competitive exam for the National Defense Academy. There is also the CDS, I think that's after your graduation, but you can throw more light on how do you join the armed forces and what are the jobs available there?
Armed forces joining starts now right from their PUC. Okay? In Kodur here, we have branch recruitment office for Indian Army, Navy for Airmen, Sainik and Navik, just PUC enough, and you have to go and have the aptitude test and physical fitness test. Then comes PUC, where if you are science student, you can go for NDA, and if you clear the NDA, you get Army, Navy, Air Force. If you are an arts or commerce student, you can join only Indian Army, Navy and Air Force is not permitted. And from this year, even ladies, for all these years, even though we got independence long back, ladies were not permitted to write the NDA. I am happy that present government has thought over it, and Supreme Court has said that you have to give permission for the women. From this year, it seems, for NDA, National Defense Academy, even ladies are also permitted to write Army, Navy and the Air Force. NDA exam is not very tough, but unfortunately, our students are not attracted to it. I went to North India, especially Punjab, Delhi and all. There the students are writing first IAS, if not IAS, the NDA, if not NDA, IIT, all these top examinations. Where our students here are not very much aware of the defense forces. So please write NDA exam. There are coaching classes in Mangaluru. You go to internet and find out where are the coaching classes here. And you get books in Sapna bookshop to prepare for the NDA exam, past question papers. In case you are a degree holder, science students can write combined defense service, and commerce and art students can write combined defense service for Army, whereas science students Army, Navy and the Air Force. Then engineers, there is a separate entry for engineering stream. In fact, now in Pune they have started Army Engineering College, Navy Engineering College, Air Force Engineering College, because in Army, Navy, Air Force, sophisticated, they have got modern, say, the instruments, weapons, which a ordinary student cannot manage. So they want engineers. Suppose you are trained for 3-4 years in this field, you can become a good engineer. So Army Engineering, Naval Engineering, Air Force Engineering. Also when I went to NITTE and all, in the campus entrance only I put, are you engineer, please come to Indian Defense, Army, Navy, Air Force. So they want many technical officers in Indian Army, Navy, Air Force. In case you are a postgraduate like MBA, MSW, MCom, MSc, they want many educators, teachers for these different cadres. and they have a separate entry called teaching entry at PG level. So starting from PUC till PG level, there are a lot of chances. And in case you want to become a doctor and nurse in the Indian defense, there are again chances. You might have heard about in Pune, okay, College for Defense. In case you study medical college in this medical college, you get free medical education and later job guarantee. Okay, so similarly nurses, okay, there are actually many nurses trained in this institution. In case you complete that, you can join Indian Army, Navy, Air Force. In case you fail to get a chance like ND or CDS, become a doctor, become an engineer, become a postgraduate, again join Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, you can serve our country.
Just to take our students back, we covered the IIT, JEE and during the earlier episodes when we discussed engineering. But what are the common questions that are asked, what are the common papers and what are the nature of the questions that are asked in these competitive exams across the spectrum? I'm talking across the spectrum. I think many of them have common papers. Which are found in all the examinations. Can you just throw some light on that?
Very good question, Brian.
Yeah.
For top exams like IAS, IFS, IPS, we have a different type of exam. First preliminary and then main exam where they have to take optional subject, one subject. Whereas for all other exams conducted by UPSC, SSC, KPSC, banks and so on, like foreign countries, you might have heard about GRE and so on, common question papers. One paper is English language. Now this English language built upon comprehension and then synonyms, antonyms, grammar. Then second paper is numerical ability, 8th, 9th and 10th standard level basic maths. Even though you want to become a bank clerk or LIC, GIC or even campus placement in any company, this mathematics is a must. We call them numerical ability or quantitative aptitude. Third paper is test of intelligence or test of reasoning. Today if you don't have reasoning, there is no use. You should have got thinking level, why, how, what and all, to find out that if both clerical officer level, they have this paper called test of reasoning. And general knowledge today is very, very important. For IAS, there are 4 papers. Each paper is having about, say, 250 marks. So 1000 marks, up to 50% marks is general knowledge. For bank clerical and bank officers, once again, so clerical is not, the officers general knowledge paper is there, and campus placement for private companies general knowledge paper is very common. Next is group discussion. Today you should have leadership ability, and for leadership ability your communication skills are very important and your team management. So they find out what are your communication skills, what are your actually leadership skills and so on. So this group discussion in CAT and for MBA entrance is a must. And many companies where you are going for marketing, logistics, supply chain, retail chain, they have this group discussion paper. Next is interview. Okay, we shall have one session later, how to face interview for all different types of examinations. So this is the common paper, these are the common papers. And if you prepare for one exam, other exam you can pass. Right from you when you are, say, 18 years, 19 years, 20 years, you start preparing for this. On the internet you get a lot of material, and in Delhi, if you go to Delhi, any road, you will find books for competitive examinations. Even in Bengaluru, might go to Avenue Road. I once went there. All the IAS, UPSC, KPSC, SSC, all the books are there. I have gone to Dharwad and Hubli, where for every 100 meters there is a coaching center. Unfortunately, here in our Mangaluru, coaching centers are there for CET, CA, MBA. But not for these examinations which are conducted by UPSC, SSC, KPSC. I wish students go for such classes and prepare from earliest stage and prepare for all these 4 papers, English, Maths, Reasoning, General Knowledge, you will be successful.
Okay, so we have covered the entire gamut of competitive exams, but there is one important question that I'd like to conclude this episode with. I just recently, I think yesterday, I read in the newspapers that there was a study by the Tamil Nadu government that 90% of those who passed the NEET, which is the entrance exam for the medical courses, I believe, have attended coaching classes. My question to you is, and of course there was a recent, I think, spate of suicides of those who could not really pass the NEET in Tamil Nadu. But my question to you is, can you not pass the competitive exams conducted by these various agencies without going to a coaching class?
Now, this is the best question, Brian. Actually, there are so many people who are opposing the competitive examinations for medical engineering entrance, because these competitive examinations can be answered by those who are trained from 8th, 9th, 10th by Akash classes, Alan classes, Byju's classes, which are charging 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs rupees and so on. What about the people who are staying in the village areas, who are poor? They are bright, but the speed accuracy comes only by practice. Just like now in Olympic games, you are having practice. If you don't practice, you do not succeed. Now these competitive examinations have got 60 questions in physics, you have to answer in 70 minutes. 60 questions in maths, you have to answer in 70 minutes. Unless you have got this continuous practice test, you will not be successful. I, as a professor and a teacher for the last so many years, feel that these exams are definitely not meant for everybody, and only top people, rich people who can afford, they can now go for IITs, NITs and medical colleges. But those who are staying in village areas, who are studying from their book, just from the textbook and all, even though they are bright, managing time and accuracy is very, very difficult. So I feel at least 50% marks of the 12th standard and 50% marks of the NEET should be considered, just like engineering. Good number of students of Mangaluru are getting now, village people also are getting engineering, because even now 50% marks are kept of PUC. But Supreme Court has said, since for medical, number of seats are very few, competition is very keen, don't consider marks, because CBSE scoring different, Karnataka boards scoring different, Kerala board scoring different. One marks also sometimes tilts the balance by 300 to 400 ranks and so on. So one conduct one examinations. So there are actually many, what I should say, points which government should think for a village person, a rural person. Actually India is in villages, most of the states. This is injustice, conducting only the competitive examinations. So have a 50% chance for PUC marks and have 50% marks for the NEET, that is CET, NEET and so on. Then at least we can do some justice.
I think the solution lies with perhaps having the competitive exams, but also the government having institutes that provide coaching which is free of cost to a lot of students who cannot afford coaching in other institutes. So you can have the best of both worlds. And with this last question that I think is impacting all of us, and I'm sure you have learned a lot about competitive exams, you can do more research on the Google, which I think everybody does these days, not only to study history but also to improve their general knowledge, which is also very important for competitive exams, as Professor Ronald Pinto said. You could also ask him further if you want to know any further clarifications about any specific competitive exam that you have heard about today, and also a competitive exam that you may not have heard of. So with that, we conclude this episode, and we'll be back for more as usual. Stay tuned to this channel. Thank you.